Gentry with us. Dana, I know you're on. We've been texting back
Hi,
and there she is. There she is.
I'm here. Thanks for having me.
All right. Dana is somebody I've known for quite a while and has been highly successful in this industry, and especially in the Ohio Valley. And Dana, I'm just going to turn it over to you, girl.
Oh, perfect. Okay, because I don't like all that stuff on the screen anyway. So I'll just get roll. I'll just get rolling. Thanks for having me. I love Louisville East. Oh, I love this office. You guys have the best people ever. Every time I get to come there and do something, I always am super excited. So thanks for the opportunity to be able to share with you guys today. So I thought that if it's okay with you guys, we're going to talk a little bit about mindset and uncertainty, and you're probably going to want to take some notes. So maybe grab something to write with if you don't already have something already. And I want to talk a little bit about uncertainty. I'm going to give you 6 tactics for dealing with uncertainty. And then I want to share with you guys 2 books that I have recently read that I think will make a big difference if you're a reader and make a big difference in your life and in your business. So before I do that, though, how is the market there? I'm just wondering compared to Lexington. Are you guys still busy? Busy? Yeah.
Crazy busy. They could use some listings, but they are busy.
Yeah, same. Okay. So we always run very comparable. I feel like Lexington and Louisville do.
We do.
Yeah. So here's the thing, though. The reason why I want to talk about uncertainty is because we've had a lot of it, right? In the last, gosh, how many weeks? I've lost track of what even week we're on. So are we 18 weeks since shutdown and all of this started? I don't know, but we've had a lot of uncertainty. And so I want to share with you guys some things that I was on a coaching call with John Maxwell. I had the privilege of being on, and anytime I can be around John Maxwell or Gary Keller, my calendar is cleared. There's nothing else that I would rather do than learn from both of them and listen to them. And so John talked a lot about uncertainty, because the crazy thing is, he shared this. He said, actually, most people feel less stressed when they receive bad news than when they're in uncertainty. And the reason is because when you receive bad news, at least you can make a plan and you can take action. But in uncertainty, we're just like hanging. We're just hanging out because nobody knows what's going to happen. Nobody knows what we're going to do. We're in uncertainty. And so he said, you have to really think about getting your mindset prepared to embrace uncertainty and actually take it as an opportunity to better yourself. And as horrific as the pandemic has been, and it's affected a lot of people's health and financials and all of those things, I just keep thinking, and I shared this morning on my Wednesday morning mindset, it's been a blessing for me. I don't know if it has been for anybody else, in the sense of just being able to prioritize my time and to get really intentional with what I'm doing, and to be able to, not that I slowed down, because I think I've worked more than I ever have in the last several weeks, but it's a different kind of work because it's a more intentional. So I want to share with you 6 tactics about uncertainty. So tactic number 1 is uncertainty takes us out of automatic. It takes us out of automatic. And so what that means is, think about this. A crisis is actually the total opposite of automatic. It's a wake-up call, and it wakes us up out of our automatic routine. We're used to order and natural and predictable, and we enjoy comfort, and we don't like change, right? And so whenever there's uncertainty, it actually takes us out of automatic. And although we tend to feel comfortable and love automatic, we actually don't really maximize anything, because it kind of removes our intuition. And it removes our awareness around things. And John Maxwell always does this thing with his arm. And some of you, Linda's, you've probably seen this before, but he says everything worthwhile is uphill. Like anything that you're going to accomplish, it's uphill, right? And so I laughed when we were on this call. He said, really, the reality is, in a crisis, the hill is just steeper. So it's gone from this to straight up and down steep. And so he said, the thing is that we have to become very intentional. And so I want you to think about, not only in your lives, but in your business, you have to become very intentional. And actually, believe it or not, you guys, intentional was my word of the year this year. But pre-pandemic, I chose intentional, and I had these little stickers made, and I gave them to some people, and then I put it on my one thing planner, and then I ordered me and Linda McKissick these little bracelets. I don't know if you can see that, but it's an intentional bracelet. It's like teeny, teeny, tiny. But when you look at it, I've not taken it off since January 1st. And it's actually kind of getting about to bite the dust. I'm hoping it'll make it through the rest of the year. But when you look at it, you're supposed to remind yourself of being intentional in everything that you do. And, you know, I've heard Josh Team and Gary Keller and Jason Abrams say this so many times, but this is the time to take mind share with your clients. And when the mind share that you take now will be the market share that you take on the other side of this. And so it doesn't happen automatically, though. You have to be intentional about doing that. So just remember, everything worthwhile is uphill. And you got to be intentional when it comes to that. And then the last thing I'll say about this, John Maxwell told us this story. And actually, for some reason, I guess I didn't know this about him, but when he was 51 years old, he had a heart attack in the middle of the night. He woke up and didn't feel good and tried to go get a glass of water. And anyway, came back and said to Margaret, something's not right with me. I think I need to go to the hospital. Anyway, he ended up having a full-blown heart attack. But here's what he said, that woke him up out of automatic. Because he said, anytime you have a change like that, you quickly realize that you have to live in the moment, because really the moment is all that he had. It's all that you have. And so John, actually, I wrote this down. He said, to fulfill his purpose that he was born for, that he knew that the heart attack happened because it woke him up out of automatic, and it got his mindset in a place where he could actually fulfill the purpose that he was born for. And so he said he became super grateful because there's no guarantee. And he said, you know, we get in such automatic that we forget those things. And so I just thought, man, that's a really good example of waking us up out of automatic. And for some of you guys, for me included, for sure, this pandemic has woke me up out of automatic. And so I think that's just a great thing to think about. So the tactic number 2 is uncertainty provides us leadership opportunities. And here's the deal. There's no better time to be led than during uncertainty. And you might even think, some of you may think, I'm a super strong, great leader. And others of you may think, I'm not a leader. I sell real estate. I do my own thing. The reality is you are a leader. Everybody is a leader, whether you're leading your kids or your family or your clients or a 200 agent office or a region of 4,244 agents. Like, you're a leader. No matter what your role is, you're a leader. And so people want to be led during uncertainty. I've heard so many stories of companies who during this time have suffered because their leader hasn't led them. They've not made, and honestly, to be really honest, I know I can share this with you guys because we're all one big KW family. One of my main jobs every single day is to call independent brokerages and mega agents and talk to them about joining Keller Williams. And through the last several weeks, you guys would be blown away if you knew how many independents I've talked to or how many top agents I've talked to at other companies who've said they've not heard one word from their leader and during this whole entire time. Like, nothing. Like, maybe they've received an email, but that's it. Like, no care calls, no trainings, no nothing. And the reality is, when you're in an uncertain time, people are looking for leadership. You know, John always says this, it's sad that it's a crisis, but something in us makes us happy because we actually get to lead. Like, we get to be able to go and lead. And John said, I've been using these words, and I believe this is something that you should write down too, but I would write down, I was born for this. Because here's the deal, whatever you're doing right now and in the midst of uncertainty, like, you were born to do that. I believe that you were born to be in the place that you're in. And so we have to think about getting through a problem to see the opportunity. And I've shared this, I think this is the 5th time I've said this today. But one of my favorite quotes of all times is Albert Einstein. And he says, in the middle of difficulties lies opportunity. Not at the beginning, not at the end, but in the middle. And, you know, Gary has talked to us for weeks about there will be top agents. If you have this line, there will be here's all of our businesses, and there will be top agents who they'll stay the same during this time. There'll be some that will go way far backwards. Well, I might be doing this backwards depending on which way you can see this, but there'll be some that'll go way far backwards because they won't innovate. They won't change. They'll be the laggards, is what he calls them. The ones that, they put their foot in the ground because they hate change and they're never going to change, and they're not going to learn command, and they're not going to learn how to do a virtual tour. and they're not going to do those things. And it's sad because the unfortunate thing is they're going to lose business because there are agents who are going to innovate and they're going to change and they're going to be leaders and they're going to go take market share and they're going to find the opportunity in the middle of this difficulty and they're going to grow their business and they're going to take market share from good agents who have decided to not do that. And it's not a nasty thing to say, it's just a reality. So uncertainty provides us with leadership opportunities, and we have to be ready to lead all the time. And think about it, guys, you're leading your clients. Like our clients have no clue whether the pandemic has made their house go up or go down, or whether what's the thing about people always say about Zillow? Gary compares it to a Fitbit. Or anybody who's worn a thing that tracks how many steps you take. We don't wear those because we truly believe that the number of steps that it says every day is accurate. We wear it because we want to see whether we walked more or less steps than we did the day before. It's the same reason why people go to Zillow. They know that that number is not accurate and that Zillow is full of you know what, but they go on there to see if their house is worth more or less than it was last month or last week or last year. And so they're wanting to be led. They're wanting to know what's happening. So you have to think of yourself as the local market expert. And, I was on a Zoom with Gary yesterday for the top 200 agents in the company. And he said, guys, if you do not see yourself as the local expert, meaning in your market and meaning the COVID-19 real estate expert, then you're missing the boat, because your people need to hear from you every single week. Here's your weekly COVID-19 real estate update. Here's your weekly COVID-19 real estate, wrap up, or whatever word that you want to use, because you're the expert and they're looking to you for that. Tactic number 3 is uncertainty keeps us focused on the same. And so what he says is we have to take care of today very well. So you need to ask yourself, did I lead well today? Did I live well today? Did I serve my clients well today? Did I do something that's propelling me towards growth today? Did I learn something new today? Because remember, when you stop learning, you die, is what John says. And here's one of my favorite sentences ever. If I prepare well today, I don't have to repair tomorrow. And John has said that for years. I heard him say that in London, and it was kind of the theme of the trip. But if I prepare well today, I won't have to repair tomorrow. And I don't know how you guys feel about this, but I would much rather be on the preparing side than on the repairing side, kind of the same as being proactive instead of being reactive, because you lose control. You have the control when you're preparing or when you're being proactive. And so John said, always ask yourself this question during this time. Did I build during the crisis, or did I get buried by the crisis? And man, that's good. I mean, I love that. Think about that, because I know all of you are builders, I'm sure. And so, but even being a builder, sometimes I think, man, there's days that this crisis has buried me. And so you have to really think about, though, when you get on the other side, because it's uncertain. We don't know if it's going to come back in the fall. We don't know if this is our new normal. We don't know if we'll do Zooms forever, or if we'll ever get back. I mean, we don't know, right? So that's what we have to understand to get through the uncertainty. But did I build during the crisis, or did I get buried by the crisis? And am I utilizing this time that I have to make myself better and to grow? And then more importantly, to better those around me. I love when John says, Simon Sinek, he said this on a interview with Simon Sinek probably 2 weeks ago that I saw. He said, a crisis is the great revealer. It reveals the players from the pretenders. And the difference is that the players, they go to where the needs of the people are. And so as realtors, we got to go to the needs of our people, of our clients, of if you have a team, of your team members. For those of us that run offices, to our agents, we got to go to where the needs of our people are. So that we can make sure that we're bettering those around us during this time too. And then tactic number 4 is uncertainty reintroduces us to humility. It reintroduces us to humility, because humility is an awareness that life is bigger than us, and we can't do it without the help of others and without the help of a higher power. And so he said, I think this is humility. It reduces pride, right? It makes us teachable. It makes us relatable. We're approachable. We're selfless. People, what's the book? Ego is the enemy of great, or something, I think is what book I read a long time ago. But with humility, we don't necessarily think less of ourselves. We think of ourselves less. And I think there's a big difference in that. And so right now we have to, this is reintroducing some of us to humility. I know, to be honest, financially, this was going to be my year. Like, I'd worked for 3 years for this year to be my biggest financial year ever. And that's probably not going to happen. So, you know, you have to just adjust to those changes and to think about that. And to know, and I love, I don't know who said this, but I've heard this numerous times. You just don't want to have a great year. You want to have a great career. And there's a difference between those two, right? So don't be like all off kilter if this year doesn't pan out how you thought that it was going to, or if this ends up being a wash year. Because you need to be focused on having a great career, not just a great year, because a lot of us are probably going to have a little bit of an off year. Tactic number 5 is uncertainty requires us to be creative. It requires us to be creative. So here's the deal. We have to look around us and we have to look for new things. We have to innovate. I've mentioned that before. We have to believe that there's always an answer. To me, no means not yet. I know as agents, you guys probably have heard that and feel the same way too. But we have to be the driving force of a creative person. So if you aren't a creative person, or you wouldn't say that you're a creative person, then you may need to surround yourself with some creative people, or you may need to start doing some things where you can think about doing things differently. Because, you know, I keep thinking about this. Like, I could think of agents in the region who, when all of this happened, they immediately got creative and pivoted. Like, the first person that comes to my mind is Ashley Marsh in Columbus, Troy's wife, Linda, because she instantly, like, and her video that we did has had over like 400 views on YouTube now of agents in our region, because she instantly came up with the virtual open house. And she was one of the first agents that I know in the company that was talking about doing a virtual open house. And she nailed it. I mean, she was, you know, normally, I don't know, maybe what do you have, 5, 6, 10 people on a great day come through your open house. And she's hosting these Facebook watch parties of her open houses when we were under quarantine, and getting like 100 people touring the home, and sharing it and commenting. I mean, she got creative and she was innovative, and it paid off. And honestly, now, even though they're doing some open houses, that's a part of their business that they're never going to not go back to. They will always do those virtual open houses and do the Facebook Live watch parties, because it was innovative and it paid off, and it was something different. So a crisis gives us an opportunity to be creative, but you have to be looking for that. And, you know, here's an example. Like, John gave us a great example. John's business is based around going around and speaking and having thousands of people in arenas and packing them to be able to change their lives and to share. And so he had to get really creative. And so now, I don't know if you follow him on Facebook, but he's doing live streams. And here's the thing, I wrote this down so I can remember to tell you. John said on a good day, when he had a packed house, he's had between 3,500 and 33,000 people in attendance in one place. By doing the Facebook Lives and getting out of the box, because this has forced him to do business a different way, he's had over 1 million people tune in. I mean, think about that. So, I mean, he's from 3,500 to 33,000 in a packed arena to now thinking outside of the box and doing this live streaming, and virtually 1 million people have watched him on the live stream since this happened. So you have to get out of the box. And then here's a great quote that he always says: halftime adjustments win the game. Remember that. Because what you do in the first quarter, the first half of the game isn't what's winning the game. Think about it. They go to halftime, they make the halftime adjustment, and they win the game. And so we have to think about that right now. And then the last one, tactic number 6, is uncertainty tests our teaching. And so here's what John talks about: words come easy during the good times. And I'm going to be honest. We went from the coronavirus and the pandemic, and now we've gone to this horrible racial tragedy that we're experiencing in our country right now. And it's hard when you're in good times, words come easy. When you're in times of uncertainty, words don't come easy. And I think, honestly, if I can be really honest and transparent, I think that's why some of the things that have been tolerated in our country have been tolerated for so long, because people, they don't have the words, they don't know what to say. And so they're afraid of saying the wrong thing, so they say nothing at all. And the reality is that this tests our teaching. I've learned more. Honestly, I have learned more about discrimination in the last 3 weeks that I've never known my whole entire life. And it's not easy to talk about, and it's not comfortable to talk about. And yet you're gaining perspective, and you have to, right? We're learning, and we're making a change, and we're doing different things. And so uncertainty is going to test our teaching. John always talks about, in a crisis, there's a gap between the leaders' teaching and their actions. And here's the gap. He always says, here's what I taught in good times, and here's how I act in hard times. And so he said, you'll hear people who will teach during the good times, and then when the hard times come, their actions show something differently, right? But you need to be the people that whatever you're talking about during the good times, you're actually acting out in the hard times too. And that's not necessarily an easy thing to do. But think about, John says, always ask yourself, are we really people first? Am I really an agent where my clients are first? Are we really a people first at the core of our heart, or are we a me first person? And he says, always, when you're a people first person, then you take the focus off of yourself, then the things that you want to attract begin to attract to you, because you're a people first person. You're not a Dana first person, or a Linda first person, or an Amy first person. You're an others first type of person. And John always says, we say this all the time. He says, I heard it in the good times, but I saw it in the bad times. And so you'll hear people say things, but then when you're in bad times, you'll see, right? Because a leader reveals us. He always talks about, it's like when you squeeze a lemon and lemon juice comes out. When you squeeze an orange and orange juice comes out. Well, when we're in a crisis, or when we're in times of uncertainty or change, we are squeezed. And so what's on the inside of us comes out. So for some people, it's not a good thing. It's not a good squeeze that comes out. And for others, it is. And so I think just being aware of that, so that because everybody gets squeezed, right? I mean, we all feel like we don't know what to do because we're in an uncertain time. And so think about that, and think about people first. And then the last couple of things I just wanted to share with you guys. Am I okay on time? Okay. Okay. The last couple of minutes I just wanted to share with you is during times of uncertainty, as leaders, there are certain things that we have to offer other people. So think about this with your clients, right? I was going to talk a little bit about database, but I don't know that I'm going to have time. But I do have a whole class, so I'll come back and teach that class for you guys. Yeah, we'll just do that. We'll do like a part 2. Okay.
What are you doing tomorrow? Just kidding.
I will do it though. We can do it like next week or something. We'll get it on the calendar, because it kind of goes hand in hand. But we have to offer people certain things right now. The very first thing you have to offer people is hope. You have to be a hope dealer. And I love when John says that. I keep saying I want to get that like on a shirt. I've seen John wear a shirt that has that on there. But you have to be a hope dealer. And because honestly, hope is the fuel that gets people through the day. Reality is the core, but hope is what it's surrounded with. So you have to be a hope dealer. You have to give continual hope. You have to give people grace and compassion, because right now, especially, man, people are saying things that they don't even mean to say. People are doing things that they don't mean to do. People are in, we're all under a lot of stress. And most of us are not our best when we're stressed, right? We're not at our best when we're stressed. So give people a break. They need it. We got to have grace and compassion. And for leaders, stress sometimes can make them better, but for most people, it does the opposite. So we just have to think about that. And then the third thing is we have to be thoughtful, right? And that's where it goes back to intentional. John says, walk slowly through the crowds. Listen to your clients. Listen to the people around you. And then come back and build on what they said. And when you're listening, remember, listening isn't just waiting for you to be able to talk. It's actually really listening to what other people are saying, and then coming back and being able to do something with it. Fourth, we have to be patient, and we have to be calm. Visual awareness of a calm leader makes people feel secure, right? I don't know if you guys have ever been around a leader, but think about a leader who you feel like is calm, and they're in the moment, and they're prepared, and they have a sense of awareness of what's happening. They make you feel good. Those are leaders that you want to be around. So you have to be that person to your clients and to your family and your friends and all those people around you. And then the last thing is we have to offer our best preparation. So we have to hope for the best, but we have to prepare for the worst. The reality is, units could drop 70% by the end of the year. We don't know, right? We're in uncertainty. We don't know what's going to happen. We know what really smart people like Gary Keller tell us that they think are going to happen, but none of us really truly know. So you have to hope for the best, prepare for the worst. And you have to have continual communication. So one thing I will tell you with your clients, Gary said this yesterday, when you're communicating with your clients right now, you can't just be the person that passes through the information. You have to be the interpreter of the information. Meaning, if you're sending a newsletter that says the average DOM is 13, they don't know that DOM stands for days on the market. If you're saying here's the latest, interest rate and the PMI, blah 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 blah, like they don't know that stuff. You can't pass through. You have to actually interpret information for your clients, and you have to keep communication all the time. Because remember, they look to you as the expert. They look to you as the professional. Just like we know that if we're gonna get in an airplane, we know that pilot knows exactly what they're doing. They're at their utmost prepared. They're the expert of flying that plane. That's why they're flying the plane, and we feel comfortable getting on the plane because we know that they are that person, right? So our clients have to know that you are that person to sell their house or to help them find a new one or to invest or whatever that looks like. And you have to be prepared all the time. And then the last thing is help people get small wins every day, because small wins, honestly, guys, are what's going to pull us through times of uncertainty. And if you can help other people get small wins every single day, you're going to be in a really, really good place. And so those are my tactics, and hopefully those were helpful. And I want to share two things with you. Number one, I would recommend every single person reads Michael Hyatt's new book, The Vision Driven Leader. It is so good. These two books that I'm going to show you are they're my books of the year. I already know it. I don't even care. It doesn't even matter what else I read the rest of the year, because these two are it. It really helps you refocus your vision. And no matter what level of business you're in, whether you're a brand new agent or whether you're a $100 million producer, whatever it is, whether you have a team or you don't, whether you're an admin or whether you're an agent, everybody needs to read this book. And honestly, if you're a team, I would read it together. But we forget how strong and powerful a vision is, and a vision is what guides us. So I could talk about this for an hour. So anyway, this is a great one right now. And then I think I'm getting ready. I talked about this morning. I think I've had so many people ask. I think I'm going to start a book club on this. So I'll send you, Amy, the information, and you and Linda can send it out. Is Krista on, by the way? Oh, I see her back there. Yay. Okay. I was looking for you. Okay. So this book, and men, pay no attention that there's a chick on the front, because it's so good. Like, I asked Adam, I said, would you buy this at Target if you saw this? And he's like, no, it looks like a girl book. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's a really great thing to remember for any of us that ever want to write books. But this book is amazing. It's called Super Attractor. And I want to just leave you with one paragraph that is in this book that I love so much. And I really am going to start a book club. So we can all read it together, because it's so good. But listen to what she says. She says, are you a pusher? Pushers are people who try to push and control to reach their goals and feel safe. They believe that the more they do, the more they'll achieve. I don't know if you guys are like that, but I'm very like do all the time. They're trying to make things happen rather than allowing themselves to attract naturally. They've forgotten that there is support beyond their own action and will. Pushers believe that they have to make things happen, and that aligning and receiving guidance don't even come into the question. They've forgotten where their true power lies. This is a common characteristic, and it's one that many cultures often seem to reward. Pushers have a fear-based belief that if they're not super productive all the time, that nothing will happen for them. Little do they know that their pushy energy is blocking their capacity to attract. So this is the last sentence. The universe doesn't respond as well to frantic energy. Rather, the universe vibrates at a positive frequency, and to co-create with it, your energy must align with that frequency.
Wow.
Isn't that so good, Linda? You're going to freak out over this book. It's so good.
I've already freaked out over one paragraph.
Oh, I know. I said this morning. I feel like I'm repeating the same things over and over today, but literally Adam said, are you going to highlight every word in that book? I'm like, maybe. I think I might. Because the whole thing is so good. But it's great because right now we got to be super attractors. I mean, man, if there's ever a time to be a super attractor, it's right now. And why go push and push and work to make all this stuff happen, when you can just focus on the right things and have the right energy and attract it to you, man, that's so much easier and it makes you feel so much better anyway.
Yeah.
So that's all I got. That was a lot.
That was, I mean, like you just threw it at us. And I'm like, oh, wow.
Any questions or comments, ahas, thoughts?
Yeah, be willing to, if anybody would like to come off of mute and share what you learned, what some of your ahas are with this. This was powerful stuff. Dana, that was great.
Awesome. Oh, hi, Maggie. I can only see like certain people at a time, so I'm trying to flip through. Well,
Yeah.
Thanks for having me. I definitely will come back and do the touch system. I ripped off and duplicated Gary's top 200s touch systems, and so there's some really great database stuff too. But I feel like you can't even get to that until you really get your mind right with where we're at right now and where we're going.
Yeah, there's so a lot of truth to that. Dana, thank you. Anybody want to share an aha before we let Dana go? Because I know she would, the universe wants her to hear it. So
there you go. Yes, I would love that. Thank you, Kelly. Oh yes, I'll definitely let you know about the book club.
I like the weekly COVID update. I think that is very powerful, and people would appreciate getting information from our side, because I'm constantly being asked what's going on in real estate.
Yep, I totally agree with you, Marcia. And the other thing too I'll say about that is it was interesting when I was on Gary's top 200 and he was featuring a couple of the agents. Every one of them, if you go to like the Sarah Reynolds team, and I'm trying to think of who else he highlighted, every one of them had already changed their website. And this was like right after this started, at the top to a flashing banner that said like your COVID-19 real estate update for your local whatever town you're in or market or neighborhood. And I thought, man, like they are on it. I mean, they didn't miss a beat, because you're right. Our clients, I mean, they need it. They don't know what the heck's going on. We need to give them that.
yeah. Adam Border said, be a hope dealer is an eye opener for him. And Melanie Jones says, add her to the book club, please.
Oh, good. Okay, this book club is going to be good. We're going to work on that this week. So I'll send you guys the information because I'm excited. This book, I feel like this book is life-changing. So I'd never even heard of this girl. Other people have.
Never heard of it. That's great.
Yeah, I know. She was Oprah's, did I already tell you this? She was Oprah's thought leader of the year. So, yeah, I know, right? I feel like she's good enough.
What's her name?
She's good enough for us. Her name is Gabrielle Bernstein. Gabrielle Bernstein. She's written several other books. This just happens to be the one. She wrote this one. This is going to be my next read after the book club, Judgment Detox. And I've had several people recommend this to me. And this is the release the beliefs that hold you back from living a better life. She's just very like energy based and spiritual. And I like that. So
yeah. Well, I love your energy today. It was awesome.
Thanks for having me. Thank you guys. Anything I can